Welcome to the Marketing Mortgages Social for Brokers podcast. Now, today I have with me Gemma of Gemstone Mortgages. Now, we originally had Gemma back on in September 2022, which is nearly 2 years ago, and I'm delighted to have her back on again today. If you didn't see, I'm going to probably make Gemma blush here. She actually just won the best broker firm up to 10 employees at the Financial Reporter Awards. And today, actually, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see over her left shoulder, you'll see it on the shelf there, which is perfect, perfect placement. So we're going to get into exactly how she won that award, but how she runs her business, because there's been a big update since last time. When we spoke to Gemma last time, Gemma was doing a lot of the advising herself, but now she's actually taken a step back from advising to run the business. So I'm really excited to get into that, because I know a lot of listeners will find that very valuable. So Gemma, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you for having me back. Lovely to see you.
I remember last time we did this podcast, it was absolutely roasting, and we both had fans on and we had to aim them away from the microphones.
Yeah, and now it's freezing and I'm wearing a jacket.
So we're recording this on the 11th of June and it's absolutely freezing. I'm still in my hoodie. I had some polos ordered, so I thought the summer I'm going to be roasting in this hoodie. But it's back on, ready for the summer. Right then, let's get into it. So before we get into all of the tips and tricks and everything that you do within the business, for anybody that doesn't know who you are, Gemma, give us a bit of a background of who you are and how you got to where you are today.
So I started as a mortgage broker in 2011, working for like a corporate estate agent, big chain. I've been in property since like 2006 though, so it's kind of always been the journey that I've been on. And then set up Gemstone in 2016, and it was just me and working above like a small estate agent's office. And then from there, it just got busy. So I got an admin, they became a broker. We got another admin, they became a broker. And then it kind of just spiraled from there. Got our office in 2020.
Oh, awesome.
And and then it's been lovely. I say lovely, it's not been plain sailing, but it's been great since.
It sounds like we're going to get into the staff side of things, because if anybody does follow Gemma on social media, she does some fantastic wellness days and family days out, and it really looks like the staff want to be there at work. Yeah. But it sounds like when you hire the admin, you train them up to be mortgage brokers off the back of that. Do you do that with everybody, do you?
Not with everyone. It depends on what they want from their journey as well, I guess. But I think by getting them in at the admin stage and teaching them that part of the business, they learn then everything that goes on. They see it all happening around them, and they're not then coming with any bad habits. So from growing, training and promoting within, they only know the Gemstone way. They tend to make the best brokers going on. I mean, it's not been every single admin that we've done that with, but it has been with quite a few, yeah.
Awesome. It's a great way to do it. We're going to get into staff shortly. But before we get into that, how many people make up the team now? How many people are in your team?
So I have Holly, Emma and Rebecca, who are our brokers. They do both mortgages and protection. I have Victoria and Amelia on our admin team. Sophie works from home doing our admin. And then we've just also got Hannah, who's been doing our sales progression. So it was just an extra service that I wanted to offer really for our clients, because we don't really work that closely with estate agents. We don't have like a constant referral of leads from estate agents. So we don't have the luxury of having our pipeline chased or progressed for us. We just found out that we weren't really in the full know of what was happening across the whole chain. So Hannah's come with an estate agency background. She's working with us and she's been fantastic. So she made a real impact.
Okay. So it sounds like you've got a person for every part of each step of that process for your clients. You're making it as best as you can for those clients.
Yeah.
Now, it's very hard to get to that point. How do you find good staff, especially that first member of staff? Because a lot of people that will be listening to this that are going, right, I'm doing, 3 appointments a day at the minute. I'm doing all my own chasing. I'm doing my own admin. I'm running the business. I'm speaking to my accountant. I'm doing my social media. I'm doing my emails. At what point did you say, right, I know I need to hire a member of staff, and how did you find them, Gemma?
So I was so overwhelmed. I was doing everything, and protection was starting to fall. I wasn't actually finding I was having the time to do it, and that's when I really knew that I needed to get someone in. So it was actually somebody that I kind of knew through a friend. And she was looking to change careers. So that was Emma. She joined then me. I think it must have been about 2019 she joined me. And she has then grown with the company. So she's my number two. So when she was an admin at first, she wanted to then do her CMAP. So she did that in her own time, bless her. And then straight away, as soon as she was qualified, she was advising, but because she'd seen me do everything, she sat in the corner doing the admin while I was seeing clients, so she had seen hundreds and hundreds of appointments. It was like listening to myself do an appointment. As soon as she was qualified to advise, she was just flying and doing it. But I think by bringing Emma and giving her the responsibilities as the office has grown, she's just then grown as well, and she's so loyal and wonderful, and
you're right hand woman.
Be with me for life.
Yeah, disclaimer, you want to keep her. So we've got that one member of staff. So 5 years later now, 2024, you've now got that big team of staff. Where do you find all these good people? Because from me looking on social media and seeing what you're shouting about and you shout about the team a lot, which is fantastic. But has it always been plain sailing, and how do you find the good ones?
No, I mean, we have had some people that just maybe haven't been the right fit. They've been great brokers, but not the right fit. And I feel like we've now got the team in the right place. Everyone is performing really well, and everyone just gets on. It is, without sounding cliche, it is like a little family. It's really lovely.
Yeah.
But I think we've never used a recruitment consultant or anything. That's
where I was going with it. Have you ever gone down that recruitment route, or have you done it organically?
We haven't had to, and I think because I do shout about the team, as you've said, and I like to show what we do as a team as well. So with our wellness days, and what they do get in return for their really hard work, and they graft. It's not just a salary, but they do get other benefits as well. And I think by putting it out there about how we treat our employees or our team, people often will message me and say, "Do you have any jobs going?" So it's almost like I've got like a bank of CVs that if I am then ready to recruit, I can go back to them and say, are you still thinking of moving companies, or are you still looking for a role? So it's just, I think about wanting people to come to you rather than waiting until you're like, oh my God, I need to recruit, which I have been in that place before, and then just hiring people because you need bums on seats rather than getting the right person in.
And that's where do you find that balance where you're that busy and you're like, I know I need an admin, or I know I need another broker. Have you ever rushed into that appointment before and felt you made a mistake? Have you?
Yeah, I have done.
How do you stop doing that?
It's difficult. I think, again, it's really hard finding the balance because, all of my team are employed. So I have to make sure that I have cash flow available, that if I want to recruit someone in, I have to be able to fund their salary and maybe a guarantee before they're even making any money for us. If they were self-employed, it'd be a little bit easier, I think, because you haven't got that initial investment yourself, of what you're putting into the business. So you have to have the cash flow available to do it. But I would just say that, if it's starting to feel a little bit busy, then you need the help before you start to flounder. Yeah.
And I suppose this is a question that everybody will have a different answer to, but why have you gone down the employed route rather than going down the self-employed route for brokers?
For me, I feel like that everyone then is on the same playing field. So everyone knows exactly what our ethos is, exactly what not the rules, we don't have rules, but you know, like what my expectations are.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm good with the team, so they have flexibility. Like if they need to go to their kids' sports day, they can go to their kids' sports day. If they want to go
Yeah.
and get their lashes done, like, you know, they can go and get their lashes done. The majority
Kids
of them
sports day and lashes, the
and
two
lashes,
major
exactly.
things.
Maybe a nail appointment, you know. So you know, we don't discriminate against the appointments, but yeah, no, there is that flexibility there. But I feel that there's the loyalty, maybe.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong; it's been really hard the last 12 months. Like where we've not been the market wasn't as good, and we haven't had as much like income as what we have done previously. And then
Yeah.
you know, the team still need to be paid regardless of how successful it is going. That's the tough part. Recruitment's also sometimes, I think recruitment for employed is great if you've got if they've got lots of candidates, but you are also fishing in a really small pond. Whereas if you're fishing for self-employed brokers, you can kind of go like anywhere, you know. But if they're working from
and I suppose
home especially as well,
that's what I was going to say. If they're working from home and they're self-employed, yes, the UK is your oyster, really.
Yeah.
But with yourself, because you are such a local thinking business, and you want good staff that fit your ethos and fit your company image, you want them to be decent people.
yeah,
That restricts the pool very, do you know what I mean, even further. So it must be even tougher to find somebody that is willing to come to an office where, yes, they could probably apply for a job that they could do anywhere in the UK. So I understand where that's coming from. Now, you looking for good staff, and like you say, it's been a struggle over the last 12 months, which I think everybody's experienced. You then took the decision to step back from mortgage advice, didn't you? So you're just sun lounging and holidaying and everything now. Is that what's happening?
nails and lashes, yeah.
But that is a massive step, and a lot of people that I speak to are at the stage where, Chris, I've got one broker, two brokers, and for me to take the business to the next level, I need to take the step back. What would your top tip be to somebody that is thinking about doing it?
You have to have a team that is either as good as or better than you. So, yeah, I mean, I trust any of my brokers with any of my clients, and I know that they're going to get that. You know, they're going to get the same gemstone treatment as to whoever they see. So by having that instilled in my team, they know what is expected of them, and they have the same standards. So I feel comfortable that I don't have to sit in front of a client to win the business. So I guess that took a long time to get there, to be able to delegate and to give that out. What I was also finding is when I had then my own clients that I was doing my own research, my own admin, my own compliance, like making my own sales calls to book in the protection, I wasn't then able to actually be the trainer, the support and the manager for the team. So if one of them's having problems with a case, I then either have to stop working on my cases and my clients suffer for me to help them, whereas actually the workload could have been spread across my other three brokers, and then I can actually
It's
help.
almost... Sorry, go on.
I was going to say I'm basically a glorified power planner now. So I'm not the office dog squaddy. Gemma, what, are you busy? Do you want to do some research for me, or can you key this agreement in principle? Or
But that is it, isn't it? It's having that mindset shift to thinking I've got to do appointments to bring income. To whereas if I take a step back from that appointment and train three people on how to do three appointments, you're getting 3 times the amount of work done. Now, the biggest thing that people say to me is, yeah, but Chris, people come to me and say, I did my mortgage with you, Gemma, a couple of years ago, and I want to deal with you. How do you get around that conversation?
That does happen. So I just sit in the appointment with the client and with the broker that I'm passing it over to. So I do all the schmoozing, they get the Gemma experience, but the advice is given by the broker. And I can also class it as like an observation as well.
Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And I suppose in 2 years' time, when they come round for their remo, they know... For Hannah, I think you said Hannah, they know who Hannah is and they've built that relationship with her.
Absolutely.
So that is a big thing, being able to take a step back. once you've taken that step back and you've said, right, I am trusting my team to do the appointments, I trust them implicitly, what does your normal week look like? Do you have a structure in place?
Well, it's not so much structure. I think it's the same as when you're a broker. It's like whatever needs to be done is done. I think there was a lot of stuff that probably I wasn't doing properly, like with the office, like making sure that everything is actually properly running, like with business rates, speaking to the council, like it actually day-to-day running of stuff.
Running the business, yeah.
Yeah. And then just like pushing the brand, speaking to potential introducers, being a trainer with the team and being a support for them, I think is massive. Yeah, and I mean, sometimes still doing, it's almost like doing the role of the broker without being a broker, because like I am then sitting with them and helping them with their cases. So rather than them having a complex case that they've maybe not done before and they're struggling with it, I'm sitting with them and I'm helping them through it. So then next time they can do it and feel confident in doing it.
Yeah, so they've got that knowledge. So you will come in and say, right, today we're going to be doing training on protection. And before we started recording, you were saying that your protection levels have shot through the roof. Do you think that is down to the way that you've approached the business in 2024 by taking that step back?
I think as well, it's been able, because I've then been able to get a bit more of a bird's eye view on what's going on and I can actually see what's going on. We introduced new processes at the start of the year in our Q1 meeting as to what I expect everyone to be doing. So as soon as a mortgage application is sent, at that stage, when we're getting the direct debit details and getting the solicitor details, we get a date to book their protection in. We always separate the mortgage and the protection sign-ups just because there's so much information in both. And we don't want the client just to think that the protection is an add-on. It is an important meeting. We actually spend more time doing protection than the mortgage. So we want the client to see the importance, and we only do those face-to-face or by Zoom. We do not do them over telephone. So we're now booking that in. As soon as the application's sent, we then say, right, now, when are you free? And it's booked in the diary. So
nice. So you putting that process in place has made a massive difference to the team.
And it's such a small change. It is literally just then it's happening there and then, rather than saying like, oh God, now I need to go back and book all of my sign-ups for the month in for protection, and you do a call out for an hour and only half answer, and you're not speaking to Mr. and Mrs. because so you don't know both their diaries. When you do the mortgage sign-up, you're going through the illustration with both. You've got them both there, book them in. So it's a small thing, but it has really worked for us to make sure that our protection has increased. Yeah.
Awesome. So tip for anybody that's listening that's wanting to increase their protection levels, do exactly what Gemma's spoken about there. So we've talked about the team, we've talked about processes, got loads of value there. What we want to talk about now is social media. So if you haven't listened to the old episode in September 2022, please go back and listen to it. Gemma talks about social media, how she runs the office as a community hub, which I still think is a fantastic idea. Talks about how she advertises the wellness days, what she does on social media. So go and take a listen. But today we're going to talk about how she increases the reach of her social media and how she uses the team with social media. So you recently had a reel about the £5,000 deposit mortgages, and it was one that had a huge reach on Facebook. I saw that it was shared, I think it was about 19 times. Now, I had a little chat with Gemma before we came on the podcast, and I said to her, how did you get it to be shared that many times? And she went, I didn't really ask anybody. So can you talk us through what happened with that reel?
Well, I think that we've kind of built up a local reputation, shall we say, and I think people trust us as a business. And the message that we were giving with that was really good news. It would help first-time buyers, it would help a lot of people, and I think if someone sees a reputable company giving genuinely good news, they want to share it. So I think that's one reason why it was probably shared. And then, the team, They just know to share. I'll be completely honest. The team on and they won't mind me saying this, they're nowhere near as good as social media as what I am, and I wish they would individually be better. Like so many times
Right.
they'll do something amazing. I'll be like, "That's a video. Record it. Do it." You know, "Oh my god, that's a LinkedIn post. You need to tell people about this. It's a great story. Do it." And they're like, "Oh, can you help me write it?" Like they sometimes really struggle, but they're very good at sharing my stuff. So
Because it's there for them.
because it's so they know like anytime if I do post anything, they just automatically share it, and so it goes out to all of their network as well as Gemstones.
Do you think it's talking to your staff and saying that would be a great one for a good news story or great one for a LinkedIn post? Do you think it's because they're so buried in the day-to-day of doing the role? Like if you think when you were an advisor,
Absolutely.
could you tear yourself away from doing your next appointment to write a LinkedIn post? You probably think that'd be a waste of 15 minutes.
Exactly. No, and I think it is exactly that. They do work every single minute they can get out of the day, they will do it. One thing that we have discussed about as a team of doing is like a content day. So I said to them, just bring in like a few changes of outfits. So anytime they do actually give me a good news story, or because we have a meeting every morning where we talk about the previous day's appointments. So anytime I hear a good story, I've actually got a little book and I write everything down in. So then I've got it ready to go. So I can say, right, I want 3 videos from you. Here's your topics. I've wrote them down. This is what you're going to do it on. So we're going to do a content day with different outfit changes, so the audience are fooled, and it's all done on different times. But I've got the content ready to go.
That's awesome. I like the idea of that. So get yourself a notebook, write in there good news stories or at the back of your diary, or just have them in one place, and then on that content recording. I think there's an argument between doing content on the fly and doing content in batches. Now, doing content on the fly, yes, that is the best way to deliver content because it's raw and because it happens in the moment.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, it's bloody hard to do that. You can't break away from an appointment to do a quick video, edit it, subtitle it, and upload it when you're going into your next appointment. So
unless
yes,
you've got
that would be perfect.
To do the editing and the subtitling for you.
That's the difference, isn't it? Yeah. Whereas the batch content, what you can do is, as Gemma's going to do, is book out a day or half a day and get it all done in one, because you're in that mindset. Very similar to if you did a mortgage appointment at 10 o'clock, a protection appointment at 11, a mortgage appointment at 12, a home insurance appointment at 1 o'clock. You can honestly say those appointments wouldn't be your best because you're having to change hats all the time. So say with social media, to go from doing a mortgage appointment to doing a LinkedIn post, back to a protection appointment, try and batch it as much as you can with social media, because the results will be completely different and a lot better. So the reason I asked you that question, to ask you who shared that reel and how did you get to do it, is to exactly drive home that point to the listeners that Gemma has built up relationships with local businesses over the last, since the office has been there 2020, 4 years, last 4 years, that when she does post something of value to social media, the businesses share them for her, exactly the same as she shares other businesses' wins and good news. That's the first thing. The second thing is your team are bought into your social media. And I think this is really important for a big team. They shared the post without even being asked by Gemma. Now, these are people that want to speak about how good their business is. They want to push it out there because they realise that the majority of their leads come from social media. Therefore, it's in their best interest to share it. So if you do have a team kind of like that, around between 5 and 10 people, I would recommend sitting down with them, having a meeting and saying, look, this is how important social media is to us. I want to make sure that we're bought into it. Is there any content that you guys want going out? Tell me what you think of social media, and try and integrate your team into social media exactly the way that Gemma's done it. That leads me perfectly on to the next point. You don't talk much about business on social media, do you?
No, we do have like the odd, what is a first-time buyer, what is a fixed-term mortgage kind of the stuff that you have to fill your grid up with, basically. But no, the majority of the stuff is about the team.
Yeah, so you share a lot of stuff about the team. So if you look at Gemma's page, we're doing this on June. So I've seen a birthday, I've seen like a work anniversary, I've seen a wellness day, I've seen a, what was it, painting and bubbles or something?
Yeah,
what was it
Russian
called?
bubbles, yeah.
Russian bubbles. I knew it had a really cool name. So how do you find that helps you from a business point of view?
I think it makes us look like we're real people for a start. People see our personalities before they even come to see us. And I think that a business that cares about their team will definitely care about their clients as well. And I think a client will see that.
It comes across very genuine. And from another point of view as well, from a recruitment point of view, people can see how well you treat the staff. I know you touched on it earlier.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So any more social media tips, go and have a listen to the episode before with Gemma, because we deep dive into social media on that episode. But this one, I wanted to speak about her processes, how she sets up the team, how she finds staff. Now, to finish off the podcast, before we get into that, we like to make a £10 donation to a charity of your choice. Gemma, which charity would you like us to make the donation to?
DKMS, please. It's a stem cell donor charity where it encourages people to join the stem cell register because there's just not enough people on it at the moment. Perfect.
We will make the donation for you on that one. Fab. Okay, so you've already answered our strategy question we did on the last podcast. So we normally ask people, you're going to pretend you've moved to the north of Scotland, you've got a laptop, mobile phone and internet connection. Go and take a listen to Gemma's response, because it's all about community and building that local brand. But today I'm going to ask you, what is the number one tool that you use in your business?
I would probably say Asana is what we use. It kind of brings everything together. So we can assign tasks to each other. We have a call log basically for each client on there. So whoever speaks to the client in the team, we record the conversation, we put emails in there. So everyone knows if they were to pick up that file, they know the full story of what's been happening. We create new lists every single month of like protection sign-ups, mortgage sign-ups, buildings and content sign-ups. And then we use that with all the client's information on there. So if anyone picks the file up, they should be able to like pass security to be able to speak to a lender, and they know what's going on basically.
I love that. So Asana, for anybody that's not used it, it's project management software really, and it's pre-built. You don't have to, I think it's dirt cheap as well. I think you pay between 40 and 50 quid a month for a full CMS really. And whenever you assign a task to somebody, like they get a notification on their dashboard or they get an email. So it's a really good way to pass tasks between staff. We use it for podcast editing and things. It's great because you can see everything visually. And as you said, you can update every card or client. And everybody's singing off the same hymn sheet.
It creates like a to-do list for people as well. So like, if we send a mortgage case, that suitability report has to be done within 5 days. So we tag the admin on day 3 to make sure that the suitability report's done. And then on day 4, it goes back to the broker for them to check. So day 5, it can be sent to the client. But so we're very strict then on those timescales that if it's in your to-do list for that day, your to-do list has to be done because it's within our
remit.
Yes. Thanks.
SLA, love it. So if you haven't checked out Asana, definitely take a look at it. It's a great way to kind of stop that sending an email going, oh, can you do this suitability letter? And then can you do this? And can you do that? Do it in Asana and everything else is looked up for you. Gemma, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Where's the best place for people to connect with you if they do want to have a chat?
LinkedIn. Gemma Cuff. You can find us on Instagram, Gemstone Mortgages, on Facebook, anywhere.
I love this. When I asked the question, about TikTok is the next one. I asked this question at the end and say, where can people connect with you? And they're like, well, you need to shout about it. You need to be almost like, this is our socials are awesome. Take a look at them. It's Gemstone Mortgages. So if anybody does want to have a chat about Gemma, I'm sure she can run through anything that we've chatted about on the podcast. She's a lovely person, as you can hear on this podcast. So thank you very much for coming on, Gemma. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.